Welcome into CBS Sports HQ Spotlight. Mike Cunio, Haley Sutton, rocking with you on the first Friday of 2025.
I didn't even know that. I didn't even think about that.
There we go. It's, kicking off the year off right here. And it is do or die time for teams in the NFL trying to sneak into the postseason with Week 18 kicking off tomorrow afternoon.
It's interesting at this point of the season, too, because you have the teams who are already done, just trying to get through this last regular season game. You've got other teams like the Kansas City Chiefs who are just cruising in there, going to sit their starters. And maybe some other bold predictions along the way. Some people chasing records. We're not talking about Saquon Barkley, though. That ship has sailed. But we do, Mike, have some bold predictions we got to get into.
Can't wait to hear this.
With our analysts. What if I told you, Mike, that Derrick Henry would also join the 2K club this season? He needs 217 yards to get there against the Browns. What about the dusty old Jets, the winners of just 4 games this season? Will they get win number 5 on Sunday? Those are just some of the bold predictions we've got from our CBS Sports HQ crew. Let's bring them in now. We got 4 Super Bowl championships between the two of these guys, Bryant, B-Mac, McFadden, and Logan Ryan, joining to discuss some of those bold predictions. B-Mac, I'm going to start with you here off the top. We all know that big game coming up on Sunday night. It is the Lions. It is the Vikings. The winner gets the 1 seed. The loser gets the 5 seed. And both of them will have at least 14 wins. My goodness. You were looking at the quarterbacks, though, in this bold prediction. What you got for us?
Yeah, Logan, Haley, my bold prediction for this outstanding game we're getting prepared to watch is that both quarterbacks, Sam Darnold and Jared Goff, will combine for 8 total touchdowns in this matchup. And the reason why I'm going this direction, and Logan, for both of us, it's hard for me to go ahead and give this bold prediction because I'm a defender. I hate points just like you hate points. But in this matchup, points will be scored for 4 quarters. And the reason why, individually speaking, when you look at the Detroit Lions, their offense has been humming. Jared Goff has been balling. He's been in his bag, and that bag has been extremely deep with goods. I think those goods will surface once again in the last 3 games for him. I mean, he's thrown 3 touchdowns. He's had 3 touchdowns. You look at Sam Darnold, the last 2 ball games, he scored 3 touchdowns. He's thrown 3 touchdowns. I think they do that plus more because of how important this game is. And when you look at how explosive either side has been, all of that production starts and it stops with the 2 quarterbacks. So I believe both quarterbacks will have an outstanding day. They will be throwing around the yard. Hey, who knows? I said 8 total touchdowns. We might see Sam Darnold run for 1 and might get a quarterback sneak from Jared Goff. But that's my bold prediction for this game. Both quarterbacks will combine for at least 8 total touchdowns.
Oh, I can't wait to hear from Logan.
B-Mac, how quick you've forgotten and changed, bro. I mean, I know it's been a while since you retired, but to switch up on the DBs and defenders that quick is insane to me. I mean, we have Pro Bowl safeties, a Pro Bowl snub in Kirby Joseph, who should be on that field with leading the league with 9 interceptions. Look, I agree. Both offenses are playing strong. Minnesota has great balance. They can run the ball. They can pass it. There's great receivers. Detroit is running off of this offense. They have a lot of fuel. They can run the ball as well. But whatever defense in this type of game, it's turning to playoff football, and the defense is going to have to set up and make stops. You're completely forgetting about Brian Flores, one of the top defensive coordinators in football, going to be a head coach maybe in this next cycle, one of the top assistant coaches. His defense leads the league in turnovers. They create a lot of pressure. They're going to have to take the ball out of the air against the Lions and force that ball on the ground and try to stop this running game. So I think the Vikings defense is too good to let up 4 touchdowns in the air, to let Goff do that to him. And I like the Lions offense, but I think we're disrespecting Brian Flores in that defense. I want to see the Minnesota celebrations. I want to see what they got planned next when they get an interception, when they get to the end zone. Those are the celebrations that I like to see. Those are the touchdowns. I want to see those defensive touchdowns.
Sam Darnold and Jared Goff have combined for 38 passing touchdowns and just 3 interceptions since Week 11. So the numbers are there. But to your point, Logan, that Vikings defense has been quite good this season under Brian Flores. Let's get to one of your bold predictions here. And this is pretty bold here. You're looking at Derrick Henry to go over 2K rushing yards this season. He's got 1,783 right now. He's facing a Browns defense that's ranked 19th ahead of Week 18 in terms of rushing yards allowed per game. But that number here, Logan, 217, what makes you believe that Derrick Henry will hit that 2K mark?
Man, I've been a teammate of Derrick Henry before, and he's been over 2,000 before in his career. And if he gets 217 yards against the Browns, one, the Ravens need to play. They are a team that needs to play their starters. They're going to play because they're trying to clinch this 3 seed. So they need to play, and then the number 2 rushing attack in the NFL. So Derrick Henry has gone over 217 3 other times in his career. It's possible. The Ravens need to feed Derrick Henry to win a championship this year. They need to feed Derrick Henry to lock up this 3 seed. They're going to run the ball. They're going to beat the Browns pretty badly. The Browns don't have a lot to play for, obviously. So Derrick Henry's going to play the game. He needs to play well, and he's done it. And he will be the only player in NFL history to go 2,000 yards twice. We saw Saquon. We see Saquon chasing a record. Doesn't look like he'll play. He went over 2,000, but Derrick Henry's been over 2,000 2020. I've seen him do it. I was a teammate of his, and then the Ravens need him to do it to win a title this year. So I see Derrick Henry go over 2,000 yards twice in his career, the only running back to do that in NFL history.
Yeah, my only concern with that prediction is, will we see Derrick Henry in the fourth quarter? Because to your point, the Cleveland Browns, they have nothing to play for, and clearly the efforts might not be the same as we've seen from them early in the year. Because, you know, I've never been on a team that has been really bad, that having nothing to play for at this moment, but I've had a lot of homeboys been on bad teams. And they used to always tell me, B-Mac, that final week of the season, I just don't want to get a shoulder contusion, bro. I just want to go ahead, do what I'm supposed to do, and get out of this game injury-free so I can go ahead and enjoy my offseason the right way. It's safe to say, because of the U-Haul trucks have already been packed in Cleveland, these are guys that just want to get in and get out. They don't want to get no extra shoulder contusion, no knee elements or anything like that. So this game could be out of reach after halftime for the Baltimore Ravens. And if that's the case, Derrick Henry might not be in the lineup, might not have the opportunities that he needs to get over 200 yards, because this game could be out of reach clearly in the second half. And if you're Coach Harbaugh, you're trying to get ready for round one in the playoffs.
Yeah, so it's my only concern there. It's just if this gets out of hand too quickly, how long will he be in the game? But to your point, Logan, he's very capable, and it would be incredible to see him do that twice. Let's move on. B-Mac, your next bold prediction. We know this point of the season as well as when these guys are trying to cash in on some of those incentives. Mike Evans trying to get paid a little extra against the Saints on Sunday. He is in danger of missing out on that 1,000-yard season again, but he can still get paid on Sunday, B-Mac, which leads us to your next bold prediction.
Well, my uncle used to tell me all the time growing up, nephew, never pocket watch. I'm like, what does that mean? Never pocket watch. Don't worry about someone else's money. But now I understand that. But get this, we're pocket watching here because it's Incentive Sunday. My bold prediction for Mike Evans, he will have a $3 million day, Haley, Logan, on Sunday. What do you mean, B-Mac, $3 million day? Well, if he has 5+ receptions and 85+ yards, receiving yards, he gets an extra $3 million. That's a great Sunday. And guess who his quarterback is? Baker Mayfield. Guess what Baker Mayfield likes to do? Throw it around the yard. And guess who Baker likes throwing the football to? Number 13. Last time I checked in the rosters for Tampa, 13 is Mike Evans. So if Mike Evans is healthy, no question, he will get an extra $3 million. A $3 million Sunday is a great Sunday. I would love to have a $3 million Sunday as well. So we can just find a way to make that the norm for all of us. Right now, I think we all will be smiling from ear to ear. But until that happens, guess what? I will be cheering for Mike Evans, and I think we all should cheer for Mike Evans as well, because he's getting a $3 million Sunday. That's my bold prediction.
I'll root for him, B-Mac, if he lets me hold $1. My goodness, that's the easiest paycheck I think he'll get when you think about the type of receiver he is. Let's talk about the Jets and the Dolphins. They will square off in Week 18 on Sunday. We know Tua Tagovailoa not available for that game against the Jets. He did say if they advance to the wild card round, he would play, but he'd get to face the Bills at Highmark Stadium. Logan, we're not even worried about that, though, because your bold prediction, you're predicting an upset here in this game.
You know, every week I'm on this show, I get the upset right.
You do.
So the Dolphins need a win to get in the playoffs. Winning, they're in. But guess what? The enigma Aaron Rodgers himself wouldn't have no better way than go out with a win to make it even more confusing in the offseason on what the Jets need to do at quarterback. Aaron Rodgers get his 500th touchdown. The Jets are winning, they're in. I don't see the Jets doing it. I don't want to see the Jets in the playoffs. I'm tired of them going to cold weather and getting blown out. They're going to the Jet Stadium, MetLife. It's supposed to be like 35 degrees. We know that. With some wind, it's going to be 27. I don't see the Dolphins showing up, and they need to show up, and they should show up. And I know players on that team, and I don't want to sound like a hater, but I don't want to see the Jets in the playoffs. I don't think they get it done. I think the enigma Aaron Rodgers goes in, has a great day to put a fate on the 2 best years of his life coming out of his mouth. to put a bow on it. So I got the Jets getting it done, knocking the Dolphins out of the playoffs. And the Jets have nothing to play for other than just being difficult to people.
The playoffs have been difficult for the Dolphins, not getting there, but winning in the playoffs too. But we'll see if they even get there at this point. All right, guys, we saved our boldest ones for last here. B-Mac, we'll go to you first. We've got an NFC East showdown, calling it a battle between the Eagles and the Giants, although I don't know if it'll really be that way on the field. No Saquon, though. But B-Mac, give us your bold prediction for this game, because we're talking about another upset here.
Yeah, we're talking about another upset. My bold prediction for this matchup with the Giants and the Eagles, the Giants will win this ball game, and their fans will be extremely sick once again. They were sick this past week when they beat the Colts. That was an upset, by the way, as well, right? Because everything was set up for the Colts to potentially win that ball game. They laid down, the Giants stood up. But this week, if you're the New York Giants, this is all about the draft for the fans. But we know as players, Logan, these players go out to compete week in and week out. Regardless of how bad they've been, they still try to fight. But for the Giants fans, they wanted them to lose last week. They didn't. And they probably want them to lose again this week, which they won't. So my bold prediction, the Giants will beat the Eagles. Nick Sirianni is resting most of his starters. And if you're Nick Sirianni, because I feel like he is the most pettiest coach in the National Football League, he would love for the Giants to actually beat them because it moves them down the draft board. And you know they need to address the quarterback position. But the further away they get from that top one or top two spot, it's going to be extremely hard to go get that, to draft that potential franchise quarterback. So for Giants fans, I know you guys were sick last week, but you're probably going to be sicker once again because the Giants will win, will beat the Philadelphia Eagles this upcoming weekend in the National Football League. Final week of the season, you have nothing to cheer for, Giants fans. You should be used to it, though. He hadn't cheered all year. But.
Man, that's a Steeler feeling real salty right now and kind of coming at my Giants. And I agree. I'm pissed off about the Giants. All he had to do was lose last week to get a quarterback. So I have no idea what they're going to do. B-Mac, I probably agree with you. The Eagles probably don't want to win the game. They're resting anyway, so I don't know if it's bold because they're playing the Eagles backups. But the Giants might mess it up anyway. Anytime you think they're going to win, they don't do it. When they're supposed to lose, they don't do it. So who knows what the Giants are going to do? Who cares? Now they're going to have to trade a lot more assets to get a number one quarterback. So they're really, really doomed. And hopefully, whatever it is, it puts a bow. They fly another banner and get a new regime in there because I'm tired of that GM anyway.
Yeah, the Giants have been a mess. Let's just move along here and get to your final bold prediction here, Logan. Denver looking for their first playoff appearance since 2015. We know they went on to win the Super Bowl that year, so that could be the path if your last prediction here comes true, Logan. Again, looking at another upset here.
All right, so you guys got to follow me here. So I had the Dolphins losing, winning, they're in. So, all right, so now the Bengals need to win, which they're going to do. They need the Dolphins to lose, which they're going to do. Now they need the Broncos to lose. And the Broncos are playing the Chiefs backup, so the Broncos should win that game. I don't think so. I think Carson Wentz, I played against him. He's not that bad. He turns it over a lot, but I think Andy Reid has fixed that. I think the Chiefs will still look fine with Carson Wentz. But come fourth quarter, the Chiefs don't want to see the Bengals in the playoffs. Nobody in the AFC wants to see Joe Burrow in those playoffs. I think the Chiefs purposely let their foot off the gas to let the Broncos take the game late so that the Broncos get in, therefore knocking the Bengals out. I think everything that the Bengals need to happens until they watch the fourth quarter of that game and watch the Chiefs purposely let the foot off the gas to rather get the Broncos in because nobody in the AFC wants to mess around and see Joe Burrow traveling to their stadium because he's a guy that can go get it upset. So I think the Chiefs purposely let the Broncos come back in the game late to let the Broncos win. The Broncos get in the playoffs. That's as bold as it gets on this show. You can't come at me no more for not being bold enough.
No. I was with you, my guy. I was right there, lockstep. When you step right foot, left foot, I'm right there with you. And then I kind of like fell back when you said, purposely? No. Purposely? Andy Reid can care less about who he sees and when he sees them. You know that. You know how the game go. Ain't no coach afraid of any other team or we're going to purposely take our foot off the gas because, no, when you're in the flow of the game, you're in the flow of the game. I was lockstep with my guy. Right. left, right. And he said purposely, I faded to the side.
You guys are going to have to handle that off camera. We got to go. We got so much to talk about today, but I can't wait to see which one of these bold predictions comes through this weekend, guys. Always a pleasure catching up with you. The final week of the NFL on CBS regular season edition looks like this. It starts at 1 o'clock with the Falcons. Huge implications in that game against the Panthers, must win. Then at 4:25, you just heard Logan say it there. He thinks the Broncos are going to beat the Chiefs. Make sure you check your local listing, see which game you've got in your window on CBS.